Advice is sometimes difficult to find, but for some, the best advice comes from the most unusual of places. Joining me today is Jane Stern, here to talk about her latest book, Confessions of a Tarot Reader. Jane, thank you again for coming in.
It's always a pleasure to be here,
Jocelyn.
Jocelyn.
You are famous for being a food writer, but you've got this wonderful gift that you've been given. Tell everybody what it is.
Well, I've been a tarot card reader far longer than any other profession that people tend to know me for. As far as I know, and only just because I don't have a great family tree, my mother, grandmother, and great-grandmother were all tarot card readers in Hungary. And my great-grandmother was a famous healer, like hands-on healer. She'd go from town to town on a mule and heal people. But they taught me how to read cards.
That's amazing. Now, you and I have discussed this before. We all have the ability to see beyond. But what you have been given is truly something special.
You know, when I was a kid growing up, reading tarot cards was on the level with cooking a roast chicken on Sunday. It was like, big deal. Everybody does this. Well, as I got older, I realized everybody doesn't do it, and that there is a difference between a gift, as you said, being able to really interpret the cards and just getting a how to, read the tarot book and, trying to use it as a parlor game.
When did you start to realize that what you were telling friends were actually coming true?
Well, I started when I was around 15 years old, and I just lied my head off because I didn't have the nerve to tell them if I saw something bad. They say, does my boyfriend love me? Oh, yes, and then the boyfriend would dump them at the end of the week. So as I got older, I realized there is no point in these cards unless you can get somebody moving in the right directions. We all hit a crossroads at various points in our lives. These are the golden path into the mind of people, and I really give practical advice with my cards. I don't just use them as silly stuff.
And you're sharing that practical advice with all of us in the book, The Confessions of a Tarot Reader.
Yes, well, 50 years now I've been doing this, and in every chapter, there are 22 chapters in the book, I give real life incidents from the client I had who called me from her home when her husband had a gun to her head and asked me what the cards thought she should do, which was an easy one, run as fast as you can, to every possible situation: love, marriage, business, sex, death, illness. The cards cover everything that is known to mankind. And, half of my family, the ladies, are all tarot readers. The other half are psychiatrists.
Gee, I wonder why.
Not that much of a difference. And I'm a funny tarot reader because I have a master's from Yale. I mean, I don't sit on the boardwalk and in a turban. But I realized that my psychiatrist uncles, would sit there and listen to problems and go, well, what do you think you should do? Well, I go, here's what you should do, and you can take my advice or not.
Well, now that you've actually flipped those cards, let's talk about your tarot cards here.
Okay.
Can you give us some examples, maybe do a quick reading here?
Yes, this is not a real reading because we'd spend about 15 minutes talking and going back and forth.
Here. Okay.
But I will do what is called a layout, and I do about 9 different layouts during a 1-hour reading.
And we should say your cards tell you when you're done.
My cards put out the I'm out to lunch sign. They're very much living entities in my hands. And sometimes they'll go over an hour. Mostly they just say, that's it, I want to go home now.
So take a look at explain to us some of the significance.
The Empress and Justice are what are called the major arcana cards. And my book, the 22 chapters in the book are the 22 major arcana cards. You know this by the name of them. Let's see if I can quickly get some other ones up here. The Fool.
Are these good cards? Do you want them?
Some you do, some you don't. The Tower, which is a major arcana card, is a bad card. Now, because I do 9 cards, they are either softened or amplified by the cards around them. But one of my problems as a tarot reader is I don't have a poker face, and if I'm going, you know,
You can't lie.
my clients kind of get worried.
Get an idea.
But for instance, if somebody draws this card, this is the mother card, this is the maternal card, which might be interesting for you.
Yes.
It's an incredibly good-hearted, loving,
About less than a minute here, Jane.
sweet,
yes.
sweet. And the Justice card is somebody who's having legal difficulties. And through the different layouts, we'll find out what is the difficulty and what to do about it.
That's great. Now, we want to tell everybody about your book signings coming
Yes.
up. And the first one here is June 2nd in Madison at R.J. Julia Booksellers. And books
7 p.m.
7 p.m. Books on the Common. Richfield, June 11th at 1 p.m. And you want to tell everybody what you're going to be doing?
Yes, I'm going to be raffling off a free 1-hour reading with me to whoever
that's great.
draws the lucky card.
Just really quickly, we have less than 10 seconds now. What do you say to skeptics?
Try me.
Oh, yes. Try you.
Yeah,
Great.
it works.
Okay.
They're my favorites.
Jane, thanks. All right, don't go away. There's more Connecticut Style right after this.